Good morning and happy Friday. So here we are, Foodie Friday, and this is the second one where I'm going to be making a recipe. So I will tell you, most of you know me by now. So I love to bake. I love to find hacks and little cheats to make a snacky food, a healthy version. So this is also kicking off our Kick Sugar. So if the people, you know who you are, who joined me for Kick Sugar, you've got access to me in Messenger. If you need support, tips, any of that stuff for the next 30 days, reach out to me on Messenger. I will be talking specifically about ways to kick sugar, how you find sugar, where to look for sugar, because it's everywhere. And I'm going to be putting things in the Facebook group, the Optimal You group. So every Friday, I started last week, I am making a fun little recipe book, pretty much just based on how I feel, what I want, what looks good, what looks like fun. So I'm going to, last week we put some fun Valentine dinner recipes in there, and today I did some crock pot recipes, because if you're if you're in Northeast Ohio, or actually anywhere right now, it's pretty cold. It's easy to throw something in the crock pot, and what better to come home to at the end of your day than something healthy. So I have been looking, there's so many recipes on Facebook, and it drives me crazy when they post a picture of something that you know isn't healthy. It's not what it's supposed to be, right? And I found this recipe it's actually like a chocolate chip cookie dough, and the picture, and I'll post the picture in the comments later of the screenshot I took of the recipe, but it's a picture of baked chocolate chip cookies. Now, come on, we know that's not the case, right? So we're gonna test this recipe out today. It is a no sugar, high healthy fat, high protein. Now, this takes me to my favorite macro tracker. That app is called Chronometer. I will also share that in the comments after this live. But the reason, well, first of all, it's super easy to work with. When you set up the account, you set up your macros. So I teach 35-30. Balanced, it's sustainable, it is easy to you do throughout your life. It's nothing crazy where it's going to be difficult to maintain. You set that up, but the cool thing I like about it is you can make a recipe in it, and as you're entering things, you get to see what the recipe looks like macro wise, and then you can add ingredients or take ingredients out and see how it plays with things. So that's what I did with this recipe, and we will get started. So it is super easy. Of course, it's one of those cottage cheese recipes. This is my favorite, and I know everything's backwards, but this is that Good Culture 4% fat cottage cheese. There's nothing in here except milk and cultures. So it's awesome. So we're gonna check this out, and it sounds really, really good. So it is 1 cup of cottage cheese. Now I went ahead and I ground up my chocolate already. Now you can use the chocolate chips when you add to this. You can add the Lily's chocolate chips, which are the sugar-free. But as you all know, I talked about this last week, my spring and mulberry chocolate. Yes, it's backwards. Spring and mulberry chocolate. It is a date sweetened chocolate, so no sugar, and it is delicious. So you get all the polyphenols of dark chocolate, and it's delicious. But they have seconds. Once in a while you can buy the seconds, and it's all the ones that don't look pretty, and it's a really good bargain. So that's what I use as my chips, because those sugar-free ones get expensive. And better than sugar-free, in my opinion, is the date sweetened. So I chopped that up for the end, so we're gonna continue on. And I'll show you another little trick of mine, but this trick depends on your protein powder that you have. So a cup of cottage cheese, a cup of almond flour, and this is one of those super easy things, you just throw it in the food processor. 2 tablespoons of pure maple syrup. So of course, when I'm talking maple syrup, I'm talking pure maple syrup. This is from a little farm, Maple Creek Farm in Columbiana, Ohio. And it's quite delicious. I love that you can go to, actually I think I got this at Walmart. I love that you can go to, bigger stores now and find local products. I think that's pretty cool. So 2 tablespoons. Now, you might be saying, well, isn't that sugar? Yes, of course it is. But when you use whole, real foods like the pure maple syrup, molasses, raw honey, you're getting the added benefits of trace minerals that are in these sweeteners. Plus, they're so sweet that you don't use that much. So here you go, 2 tablespoons. And I will share the macros. I'm gonna share lots of things in here at the end. So cottage cheese, almond flour, maple syrup, and now I'm going to add one of my, testing out now, one of my favorites is the Paleo Valley bone broth protein powder. The only problem with this is it's a bone broth protein powder. So when you use this in a recipe, it will make things more watered down because this liquefies. So if you're using it to replace a flour or in baking, you need to think of it as a liquid because it's gonna change the ratio and it's not going to bake the same. But in this recipe, we're going to add chia seeds at the end because what this will do is it will absorb the excess moisture and thicken this up and make it like a doughy consistency. And it's going to add all kinds of omega-3s, protein, good fats, all kinds of goodness in our chia seeds. So that's pretty much it. You cannot get simpler than this. Maybe a little more. I don't like the chunks of the cottage cheese. I don't know, who's with me? I'm not a cottage cheese fan, but those curds just, there's something about them that's strange. So that's it. We're gonna take this and let's see. Oh, okay, that's pretty yummy. How can it be that bad, right? It's just pretty much, the cottage cheese just gives it the creaminess and it's almonds, right? So not that big of a deal. It's really sweet from between the protein powder and the maple syrup. It's pretty sweet. So now I'm gonna add the chocolate and we're gonna throw in some chia seeds. We're gonna start with a tablespoon because remember, these little guys soak up liquid. So you really don't want them dry, but these should be pretty good. And then you just throw these into the fridge, make them like little balls. They, seriously guys, look like chocolate chip cookie dough. So, and it's pretty thick right now. So I'm pretty happy with it. I will post these. I will post a picture of these also as I start to pull them out. But when you put them in the fridge, they'll get firmer and harder. You'll have a little crunch between the chocolate and the chia seeds. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to these. Like I said, a really, really good thing to have on hand, full of protein. The carbs are, I don't want to say low because they're a tiny bit less than the protein, which is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. And it's a sweet treat that you can grab and really not feel bad about at all. So let me know what your favorite protein powder is. I'm testing them out. I wish you could order little tiny samples of protein powders because I really hate getting a whole big bag and it not being good. But, so watch out for sugar because it is everywhere. And I touched on this last week with insulin resistance. And the problem is that you get carbs everywhere. If you start reading your labels, well, high fructose corn syrup is everywhere. Ketchup, the first ingredient of ketchup is high fructose corn syrup. Unless you get the organic or the Simply Heinz, those have sugar. So in the ladder of good, better, best, high fructose corn syrup for me is a hard no because it is toxic to your liver. It is toxic to so many things. It's just not good. Sugar, a little better. However, we want natural sugars. If we're looking for the insulin resistance You need to keep those carbs, any carb, because any carbohydrate is going to turn into sugar in your body. So they all add up. Ditch the bottled dressings. They all have sugar. They all have seed oils. So ditch those. Ditch honestly, anything processed. If you get rid of all the processed things in your cabinet, you are honestly way ahead of the game, and you got rid of most of the bad non-food things in your pantry. Focus on protein and veggies. Carbohydrates are the only macronutrient that your body does not need. So focus on whole foods, and you will be snuffing out the sugar. Sugar is highly inflammatory. So we've got some yummy, low inflammation here, but again, in moderation, because everything's good in moderation. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you make these. I will post the recipe, and I'll post a picture of them finished. And I would definitely add the chia seeds in here just to give it a little extra crunch. I think that's it. Chronometer, my favorite macronutrient calculator. And have an awesome weekend. Check out the Optimal You group. A private group, so you can feel free to ask questions in there or anything like that. And I have all kinds of files uploaded there that will be helpful. And if you have any questions, put them in there. I have a whole library of educational documents that I have created over the year, and I use in my practice. And chances are, if you have a question about it, I wrote something about it. So check it out. Message me if you want to get into the group, if you can't find it, and I'll be happy to invite you to it. Have an awesome weekend. Thanks for watching. I love seeing names and faces pop up here. And Monday, check me out at 8 o'clock for Motivational Monday. Drop questions. Let me know what to talk about. Have a good one.